What's up, RDLC people? I'm here today with Pankaj Jindal, the founder of one of the founders of Sense. Anil's joining us again for lunch today. Everybody knows that I'm a massive fan of automation and using tech over talent wherever possible, building efficiencies and building automation, stopping recruiters do those boring tasks, and making the tasks that they do more of.
That's right.
We had this opportunity. You've come to London. You've had your jet lag. You've come from the most expensive place in the world, San Francisco. Gone to Paris. Disappointed by the dog shit and the bed bugs. Straight into London, and the only day it's actually rained. So all down to you, sir. So what we wanted to do is give you guys just a quick insight as to why we think Sense is really important and why we've actually chosen, of all the automation tools out there, why we've chosen Sense to be our partner. So first things first, congratulations on the product.
Thank you so much.
Now I know we've just thrown around some names of businesses that you've been working with. Just so that the people get an understanding, you were doing this on the Bullhorn platform long before Herefish came about, and Bullhorn used to give you leads, but you've been working with the likes of Jeds. You tell us who you have worked with.
Absolutely. So first of all, we started at this point about 8 years ago. So in some senses, we were the first automation platform that was designed specifically for the recruiting industry. We have a number of partnerships with applicant tracking systems. Bullhorn was one of our oldest partnerships. We have over 300 common customers even today. We work with Vincherry, we work with JobAdder, we work with a number of other ATSs, for example, in the US. We work with some really large organizations in the UK, like the Morrison Group, Spencer Ogden, but our typical customer, tends to be a company that has anywhere between 20 to 50 to 100 recruiters.
Which is the UK sweet spot, as we all know.
Yeah.
And thank God for that, because the lunch we got here is the sub-15 group, so thank God we've actually got that right.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the functionality. So Herefish does one thing,
Sure.
Whereas you talk about the Magnificent Seven.
Listen, I think of Herefish as every ATS is going to have some sort of an automation engine. They obviously need to do things that are very table stakes. Can you update fields? Can you clean up my data? Those are the kind of things that I think Herefish is able to do today. Sense is an automation platform. Like I was telling you, we have 7 distinct modules. They all lie on top of the automation layer. So that's number one. Second is text messaging. Two-way text messaging back and forth with the candidates or the hiring managers, and I'll talk more about that in a second. Third is a natural language-based chatbot. So you can now pre-screen candidates in natural language before they ever have to talk to a recruiter. Fourth is a scheduler. If there is a candidate you're interested in, can you automatically schedule them on your recruiter's calendar, whether it's a Google Calendar, a Microsoft Calendar, whatever the case might be. Fifth is a referrals module. Every staffing company owner I talk to tell me that referrals are amongst the number one source of hiring candidates, yet they don't ever get that right from a technology standpoint. Referrals are a black box for still a lot of companies. Yeah. Sixth is a job matching algorithm. So we can literally take a resume and match them to jobs, or take a job and match them to every candidate you have in your database. And seventh is a module that actually gives recruiters the power of managing their own talent relationships. So what jobs am I working on? Which candidates are applied to that? Essentially sort of a cockpit or a co-pilot for the recruiters themselves. These 7 things together form what we call the Sense Talent Engagement Platform.
The thing that you do best is working with the CVs and the client records that are already embedded into the CRM. So if you can take that data from LinkedIn, embed it into the CRM, then tidy that data. And we were talking just quickly about how you actually go about making sure that the data you've got is relevant, it's on point, and cleansing data is a really big thing.
Absolutely. That is one of the biggest use cases of Sense. Your data in your CRM can come from any number of sources. It could be LinkedIn, it could be job boards, it could be Monster, Indeed, LinkedIn, referrals, whoever you're paying money to. But once you have this data, and I suspect some of your members, Gary, they probably have been paying all these sources for a decade or decades.
Yeah.
And they've now got 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 people sitting in their database. But the last time they talked to each one of these people could be 6 months, could be 6 years. Sense would come in and automatically refresh this data. We can reach out to every single one of these people in a channel that they like. Could be an email, could be a text message, could be a chat bot, could be a WhatsApp message. We reach out to them. Ask them the basic questions you want to know. Are you still available? If not, when will you be available? What kind of money are you looking for? Has a preference changed in terms of when you want to work and where you want to work? And we write all that information back into your CRM. A lot of our customers report when they look back at data that 50% of all hires that they make every year come from people who already existed in the CRM. So theoretically, you can make half your hires from the data you have already and spend half the money that you're spending today on recruitment sources.
Okay, which we love, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
more, basically, recruiters doing more, well, fewer recruiters doing more efficiencies makes them stickier as well. Well, we were also touching upon best practice.
Yeah.
Because doing this, you can't have multiple people working in like freestyle and being maverick.
Yes.
It means the organisation can actually find out what is best practice and take that best practice and then build the automations around that, which makes your business incredibly well run and well thought out. Do you actually help people come up with like the creative, if I were you, most businesses do it this way? Can you actually give advice at that level?
All the time. So we're absolutely trying to tell companies all the time that you cannot survive a company with a few renegades. What you essentially want to do is a consistent process that every candidate in the market comes to expect from your brand. If you start working with Sense, we literally start by giving you a menu card of journeys and automations you should be building. It's something just you can pick up a la carte and tell our team, hey, I want number 3 and 17 and 26. They make sense for me and we'll build them out for you.
Like a Chinese menu.
Exactly like that. The second thing I say is you can take the best recruiter in your company, say, oh my God, don't I wish everybody did what this person does? And we can build automations that mimics everybody's behavior based on that person. How does that person follow up? How does that person prospect? How does that person write their emails? We can do all of that.
Okay. And one of the things that we were talking about, it builds efficiencies so you can actually reduce some of your burden on having other heads, so people doing some of the compliance pieces, etc. With organisations who are using Sense brilliantly,
Yes.
where does that relationship last? So, where's that relationship belong? Is it at desk, so recruiters work out their own way to do things, or is it at a management level, or would somebody have a technical wizard who basically says, okay, this is what the leadership want, this is how we make people do this, and report back in terms of people's efficiencies? You know, but businesses are having to grow up with this and get data analysts and systems experts.
Yeah.
Is that how? What the question is? Sorry, I'm answering my own question, as always. What are the best businesses, the most successful businesses, doing to engage with Sense and then deliver it into the business?
Yes, no, great question. First of all, there are 2 typical actors that work with Sense. One is somebody who is responsible for content. Could be in marketing, or if you don't have a marketing person, we'll help you out. But the idea is make your messaging, your tone of voice, your brand colors, your logo consistent. Every single message that goes out, it starts making your brand look like you're a much bigger company than you think you are. So one is content and marketing. And the second is operations. Anybody who understands, hey, when I'm talking to Bank of England, the emails need to go like this, but when I'm talking to a grocery store, they need to go like that, right? So as somebody who can give us information on how your different customers behave. But essentially the idea is, to what you were saying before, if there is anything a recruiter is doing 2, 3, 4, 5 times today, we want to be able to take that, automate it, so your recruiters are never doing that again.
Right.
Your recruiter should only be either talking to a candidate or a hiring manager. Everything else should be automated. If you ever feel like you have to hire another person because here are these 5 things that nobody's willing to do, let's automate them.
Right, perfect. And in terms of sort of entry level,
Yes.
sort of 10, 15 is not a problem,
Yeah.
up to 5,000, 6,000, not a problem.
Yeah.
What's the current price that you're offering for RDLC members?
Our pricing is simply based on your number of recruiter licenses. So
Right.
based on your recruiters, I mean, your pricing at this point is the most preferential pricing that Sense has anywhere. But yeah, it's simply based on, we can just put together something based on the number of products you're buying and how many recruiters you have.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything I need to ask you so that my members just get a full, a rounded picture of Sense as you are sat here today?
Absolutely. 2 more things. One, we're, I think, the first company where we're driving our product AI first. we now have generative AI in all of our products. So remember how I talked about text messaging before? You can now do things in our product like, hey, Gary, are you looking for a job? That's what you would write in the message, and then press a button that says, make this message friendlier. And generative AI will make it friendlier, make it shorter, make it more professional. We can send that out. If there is anybody who has a writer's block, doesn't know how to write the best email or the best text message, it's being done generatively. If a candidate comes to you, let's say they work in construction or they work in utilities and have never quite made a resume, you can literally put down 3 keywords and say, does this, wants this kind of money, wants to work remote or on-site, will generate a resume. If you have a hiring manager who picks up the phone and calls you and says, I need a guy who can do this, this, and this, and that's all they tell you and not a job description, put that in our Copilot, we'll generate a job description. From the job description, we'll generate screening questions automatically so your recruiters know what to ask. From the screening questions, we can generate a chatbot automatically so your recruiters don't even have to ask. The chatbot can just go out and ask them. And we'll deliver this chatbot via WhatsApp, via text message, via email. So think about this world where you just talk to a hiring manager, 5 seconds later, you have a job description, you have screening questions, you have a chatbot, you send it out to 100 people, people are pre-screening themselves, and the best candidates are being scheduled with your recruiter.
And because all that data is sat on your CRM, you can send it out to 5 people, 500 people, 5,000 people.
Absolutely.
There's no limits now.
That's exactly right. And not to over-dramatize this, but we have customers that will do this at 3 p.m. on a Friday, just before they're about to go home, send text messages out, and by the time they come back Monday morning, they have 17 people lined up on their calendar, pre-scheduled, that meet all their criteria.
Right, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Just one final question, if I may. What's the future of automation and AI?
Yeah, so great. We talk about this a lot. I mean, I think a lot of people today worry about man versus machine, so AI versus a recruiter. And I keep telling all of them it's man and machine versus the problem, right? AI is going to be here to stay. Obviously, everybody knows that. The people who are using it better, people who are using it to faster, to reduce your time to fill, reduce your cost per hire, they're the guys who are going to be the winners. When people apply for a job, they apply to 12 jobs at the same time. If you're the ones who reach out to them in 5 seconds, they're more likely to talk to you. When people apply for a job, 56% of them apply after hours. Your recruiters aren't working, but a chatbot is. So as long as you
They're
embrace...
not working in hours, to be fair, which is part of the problem.
But if you embrace the idea that AI is here to help you and basically help you find the needle in the haystack, you're going to be the winner.
Brilliant. Guys, I'm a massive fan of this. Hopefully you got something from that. The one thing I will say, we're always looking for that extra half a deal. Extra half a deal. This would pay for itself if everybody in your business did an extra half a deal. Sir, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Brilliant. Reach out, Andy Wishner, and you can speak to these guys directly. Peace.
Thanks a lot.